Last week on Gleeboot, Beast ate a turducken, Pelby consummated their relationship, they had a lady music intervention for Santana, and I was on a roll and I lost my last one. What was that last thing that happened? So much.
I can only remember the episode that I watched this morning. So.
Kurt lost the election and Brittany won.
Yes, that happened.
And
Thank
that's
you,
what you missed on
Gleeboot.
Gleeboot.
Welcome to Gleeboot, the show where we get drunk and talk about rebooting Glee one episode at a time. I'm Cullen.
Alyssa.
And I'm Hannah.
And we have my best friend from high school here, Bobby.
Hi.
Hi.
I didn't know you guys were high school friends. That's so fun.
No, I was like, okay, wait. So how do they know each other? Now I know.
Yeah.
We go way back.
We do. We do. And so watching a high school show, it just made me think of high school memories, especially because I knew you were going to be the guest.
I'm blind.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Of course. We're excited that you're here to talk about the bananasness of Glee.
Oh my goodness. Is bananas the word tonight?
Well, this episode, I didn't think it was that bananas, actually.
This episode was pretty good.
I have a secret. I'm going to tell you a secret. It's not going to be a secret anymore. Actually, I already told Cullen. But anyway, I teared up during this episode.
Well, I guess we'll get to what part.
Yeah, what part?
I'll save it until we get there. But I was emotional. It doesn't happen very often.
Interesting.
Not with Glee.
Yeah. This was a pretty fun episode. But first, Robert, Bobby, what's your story with the show Glee?
Okay, so I had started watching, I think during quarantine, and maybe even before, but I think I got through at least 2 seasons, and then I went back to work. So it kind of all ended there for me. But I like it. I haven't been able to get so into it, and I think it's just because I haven't had time to watch it completely, but I love it, There's some characters who I can totally relate to, and then some are just like, okay, we all know that person.
Yes, yeah, we there are some characters that remind us of people we know.
So have you hadn't seen it at all, like when it first came out?
No.
Wow.
Because when did it come out? It came out a long time ago, didn't it?
Yeah, first season was 2010. This season happened 2011, 2012, I think.
So it would have come out like your freshman year of high school.
Yeah, and I was a child, so...
Wow.
I'd watched like a few episodes here and there throughout like high school and whatnot, but nothing serious.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I think you might be one of the first people we've had on who hadn't like started watching it when it came out. So that's really interesting, except for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, maybe it's time to binge the whole series in one night and kind of see what it's all about.
Yeah, join the phenomenon that is Glee.
I'm crying.
So what are we drinking today?
Okay, so I told you guys when I came on that I had something a bit weird. It is also from Funky Buddha Brewery. It's called Last Snow, and it's a coconut and coffee porter. It's interesting. It's actually growing on me. Like my first sip was like, oh, okay, that's a lot of different flavors, but it's growing on me. So yeah.
It actually sounds really good. I am not drinking anything. I have been feeling dizzy and lightheaded all day, so I decided not to add alcohol to that mix.
Smart.
Really a good plan.
Mm-hmm.
What are you drinking?
Oh, I'm drinking orange juice and Malibu, my favorite coconut rum. It's very light and sweet and not too intense.
It
It's my
sounds
favorite
delicious.
go-to after work.
And you're getting your vitamins, which is good.
Yes, gotta get that daily dose of vitamin, whatever this is.
That would be C.
See, okay.
Gorgeous.
Cullen, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking a Bud Light Seltzer strawberry, and it's like
Oh, yum.
a pint. Yeah.
I can smell it. It smells good. It smells like strawberries.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's big because I wanted to get a little schwasty.
Oh, nice. Schwasty on a
Love
Sunday
that.
night.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I was editing Mashup. You can tell, like, my progressive drunkenness. In that
Oh my
episode.
God. I cannot wait.
I loved that episode.
It was
I'm
real funny.
In the social media for that episode, I may put like a check where you fully see that Allyssa has gone drunk.
Yeah.
That's terrific.
So, Bobby, did you take the BuzzFeed quizzes?
I did. Do you want to
Yay.
know all my results?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. So for the which Glee character are you? I got Finn Hudson.
Nice.
And then my Glee boyfriend is Kurt Hummel, which I don't
Oh.
see in real life. It's not for me. But you know.
That's really interesting. That's an interesting combination. I honestly don't even
No.
remember what those quizzes were like. Like, I know I took them, or at least the one.
There were only like 5 questions, so I feel like it wasn't enough information, but very basic stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually was taking a Glee BuzzFeed quiz this morning. It was how much of a Glee are you based on knowing who sang each of these songs? And literally in
Oh
like
my
the third question was literally songs that happened probably in like the 5th season because they were characters I didn't really have a lot of experience with. I was like, but one of the questions was about this episode, and I saw a secret today. So today, when I went to watch the episode, I knew that there would be a character coming back.
Oh,
So I had that spoiled for me, but in a good way. Because I guess we can kind of spoil it, but we'd been talking about this person being like, oh, this person's still gone. Who knows if they'll ever come back? And
I'm
boy,
crying.
did they come back from a very interesting situation.
Yep. I can't wait to talk about it.
I woke up to hearing Alyssa in the other room go, "Golden Retriever."
That will become. I saw Bobby's face go, what?
I have so many questions. Wait, okay, so how many seasons are there in Glee? Is this a terrible question to ask?
6.
6, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
6. Okay, and have you all seen all of them?
No.
No.
This is
Oh.
Alyssa's first go, and this is my, like, I would say 1.5. Like, I've seen most of the show, but I kind of dropped off in season 4 and never got to 5 and 6.
I've seen
Oh, well, that
season
makes
1
me
through
feel so
3.
much better.
Yeah.
So none of us
Love
have
that.
seen all of it.
Yeah, so by
Okay,
the
cool.
time we get out of this season, we're all going to be like, what is happening? What is happening? What did happen? What is going to keep happening?
How exciting.
Yeah.
We are in for a ride. That's for sure.
A ride of a lifetime.
Literally. So much of my lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's one thing to just watch the show, but then like you watch it and then you have to like talk about it for 2 hours.
And
At
then
least once a
edit
week.
it for another 2 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah,
We do it for the fans.
we do.
Yes,
It's all for
definitely.
you guys.
Love it. Excuse me, guys, I'm making another drink because it is that time.
Drink o'clock.
So we're talking about season 3, episode 7, or no, episode 8.
Yeah.
Hold on to 16. So we have a few plots. We're going to go in kind of chronological order today because that makes the most sense with competition episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But we have Quinn and Rachel, Faberry.
Hey, Barry.
Shout out to Brittany. I was thinking of you during every scene they had together. We have Tina and Mike. We have Sam coming back, and then we have the competition.
What are we starting with?
We're going to start with Quinn and Rachel because the episode opens with them.
So does that also include it's Faberry and Pelby?
Yeah, and Pelby. And then we have a blurt scene.
Mm-hmm. We are, I would say, bastardizing. We're bastardizing Glee with that one, but honestly, it's way better than Klaine. I love Blurt. Blaine and Kurt, Blurt.
I'm crying.
It's so good. Okay.
So Quinn comes up to Rachel and she's like, are you still allowed to be here? Because Rachel just got suspended for trying to rig the election. And she's like, oh, I'm allowed to be here as long as I'm collecting my work. And she's like, you don't have to worry about us losing at sectionals because I'm going to get Shelby fired because she's been sleeping with Puck. And then Rachel's like, you can't get her fired because then she won't be able to take care of Beth. And then Quinn's like, sounds like an unfit mother. Then I'll be waiting in the wings. And Rachel's like, you can't do this.
So is that when Rachel finds out about Pelby?
Yeah.
Like, okay, because I was going to say, like, there's no, like, shock or horror. It's just, this is what's happening. Okay, we're moving on to the very next point of our conversation. I'm like, why is Rachel not like, what?
Aghast.
Because she's like, it's wrong, but it's not illegal because Puck's 18.
Right.
It was almost like the show was trying to defend itself.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, it felt very much like that to me. Because Rachel, her reaction was not organic at all.
No.
It felt like she was just spouting off people who were defending this.
I also feel like out of anyone, Quinn could go to Rachel to conspire for this to happen. Like, out of anyone in the Glee Club, Rachel would be like, okay. She like moves in. She's like, okay, this is how we're going to do it. Like, that would be more realistic. I was like, just Rachel's nonchalance about this. I was like, wait, did she know about this off screen? What's going on? I must have missed that line.
Well, not only that, but I was expecting a little bit more in the reaction department from her because it's Shelby.
Yeah.
Her mother.
Her biological mother.
Uh-huh. But it wasn't even really about Shelby. It was like, you're going to take Beth's mother away from her. And I don't know. I just like, Rachel is so self-centered that I feel like her relationship would have been first in her argument, not Beth's relationship.
Or she like connected it to the fact that like Shelby's not my real mom, my real parents are my dad's. Like if she connected it to that and be like, Shelby couldn't give me the life I needed, but my dad's could, that would be a bit more logical. But
just
otherwise
something.
She just jumps to Beth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Rachel knows the baby's name? What?
Yeah.
She would take the time to know the name?
They named her
honestly,
after Alyssa's mom, so.
Yes.
Right, that's right. I was going to say, that's right. They did sing that song in Glee Club, and I think Rachel was probably there.
Pretty sure everyone in Glee Club would have known the name of the baby that one of their members had.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. It was, it was somewhat of a substantial thing that happened.
This is high school. Rumors abound.
So she tells Quinn not to be a destructive force in the universe or something like that. Maybe she says that later, but something.
Too late. Where was Rachel when Quinn was trying to like put hot sauce in Shelby's house to try to frame her? Like,
didn't she say something like, when you get done being a destructive force in the universe, come find me, or something like that?
Or like you're gonna hit rock bottom.
I don't know.
Yeah, like you've done a lot of terrible things, but you're gonna hit rock bottom.
Yikes.
Yeah. I would hate to see what rock bottom is after all that.
Yeah. So now we're gonna jump to Sam's storyline.
For your information, Sam is my Glee boyfriend from the quiz.
He is the golden retriever with abs.
Yes. I have determined he is a golden retriever in human form.
That was all very shocking when they went into the bar club. And they're just like, oh, there's a lot of older women here. And then all of a sudden they're like, all righty. I was like, oh, gosh. What is happening now?
Yeah, it was some Magic Mike up in there.
Gorgeous.
We saw Magic Mike and they're like, we need to make this part of our show.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So Will and Finn are working on a set list, and Finn's like, oh, Suki's food.
She is a hungry cat.
Because I'm always like, what is that noise? Yeah. So they're talking about we need to fix our Finn wants to fix their performer problem,
which is that they don't have enough good performers. They don't have any star power because Rachel's out now.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, we need star power. We need Sam Evans. And Will is like, he moved to Kentucky. And Finn is like, or he's like, he moved away. And Finn's like, he moved to Kentucky. It's like just a few hours south of Cincinnati. Even homeless people have Facebook.
Yeah, that was a great line.
And it implied that they were still homeless, which they're not.
No, we'll get to that.
Yeah, I was very confused at that part. I was like, okay, get it.
So then Rachel and Finn go down to this bar, and they're like, Sam works at a bar, and they're like, Rachel's like, yeah, a lot of small theater troupes, the only place they can perform at. And then, and then it turns out, there's a lot of older women, and then it turns out it is a stripper bar.
I mean, I feel like the buffet and like the way the tables were arranged around the stage should have given that away. I don't know. But then, like the announcer comes on and there's like Mr. Package. I don't remember what the other one was. And then they announce White Chocolate. And I was like, oh no, that's his stripper name? He probably did a BuzzFeed quiz to find out what it was. He should have gone with Trouty Mouth.
I was mortified by his name. Not necessarily that he was a stripper, but by his name.
Yes, that's what got me. I was like, okay, that's fine. But his name? No, he's got to change it.
I was like, this child is stripping for money.
That too. Is he 18? Do we know he's 18?
No, he's a grade below Finn and Rachel.
Cool. So he's not 18.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to say.
Yikes.
This is Kentucky.
There you go. Yikes. I think yikes is our word this week. Everybody drink every time we say yikes.
I'm screaming.
And so Finn's like, that's not an image I can get out of my mind. And Rachel's like, give me $1. And she goes up to like give him $1. And he's like, Rachel?
She also like doesn't look at him. She's just like has her eyes down.
I was just gonna say that. She's like not making eye contact at all, just staring at the floor like, here, take my money.
She's like, this will get your attention enough, just seeing me in my poncho and my bangs.
My poncho at a strip club.
Yeah, she's like,
this season loves a good poncho.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And so then it cuts to them backstage. They bring him food. They're talking to Sam. They're shaming him for his job. And he's like, hey, like it pays more than Dairy Queen. My parents think I'm still working at Dairy Queen, but like whenever we need something new, like these abs pay for it. And Rachel's like, you're good at this for all the wrong reasons because of your innocence. And I'm like, because you're an innocent child.
Yeah, you're a child.
I think he said he made $60 in 15 minutes. I was like, okay, let's go. It's time for an upgrade.
He walked out on the stage and I was really excited because it was Sam and I was seeing him for the first time in I don't know how many episodes. It was like my golden retriever that ran away had just come home again.
Oh, that's so
nice. I don't know. I was like too excited to see him and I was like, you're not dancing very well. It didn't really even occur to me that he was stripping. I was just like, I blocked it out.
You're not dancing very well.
I literally was like, of course. The first episode, they bring him back. Not only does he get shirtless, they have him rip off his clothes as if he's been waiting 8 whole episodes to do it. Like, that's what was going on. I was like, wow, okay, what an entrance.
Yeah, and because he's like, not that I'm ashamed to work here, but I am. So yeah, there's some messages there that we could unpack, but I don't know if I want to.
I don't think the scene's long enough.
And then they go back to their home where Sam's family lives, so they are not homeless.
Also, it looks like a really nice home.
So
It does.
I thought that too. The things that gave away that it wasn't supposed to be a nice home, like inside, it looks pretty nice. Outside, there's a chain link fence, and then there's like a dog barking. I think those are signals to think like they're in a not great neighborhood. That's what I think.
Weird.
But the house itself, outside looks okay. Inside looks okay.
The inside was like they had a big kitchen. I always think of like
kitchen
houses that are not very nice don't have large kitchens. That's the one thing that I always notice. Your kitchen is tiny. You didn't have enough money to have a larger kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Alyssa is judging you. No, she's not.
She's making an architectural observation.
I'm judging the architect.
Yes.
Love it.
Well, yeah, I mean, kitchens are expensive. So to have a big kitchen, that takes a lot of money. So like, I mean, unless like the neighborhood went down in value and they could afford it and just like the houses were naturally just a bit nicer, I guess. I don't know. I think that's just the sets they had for the day, the locations.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I love that we're talking about kitchen prices. It's just iconic.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
did they have marble or was it just granite? No, you're tacky. You can't. Get out.
Hey, they definitely had like wooden cupboards though, like hardwood cupboards. I remember that.
And that's kind of bougie.
Yeah, I know. So when I just wish it like matched up more with his story about having to buy his brother shoes.
Right.
Yeah, because weren't they homeless in the last conversation?
They were,
what happened?
they were literally living in a motel, and then they moved to Kentucky, and they moved into this house.
And I
They
don't
became a
understand
stripper and
how
they had a bigger income.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Feeling inspired by this episode. Let's go make money.
Yeah. And then, so his dad, which his name is Dwight, according to Glee Wikipedia.
Okay.
Dwight Evans, but his mom was not named.
You guys,
Shocker.
it was like Sam's dad is also Superman's dad in Smallville.
Is he really?
Yes.
I did
Oh
not
my gosh.
recognize him.
I was like, where do I know this guy from? And he literally plays like the exact same sort of person. Like
That's
he's
amazing.
Superman's dad, Clark Kent's dad.
So let's quickly talk about their conversation.
Yeah, not just their kitchen.
Yeah, because last week we talked about conversations that we would have liked to have on screen, and we talk about it frequently.
Mm-hmm.
What was the content of this conversation, Cullen?
So first, Rachel and Finn are there, and they're like, he should come. We really want him to come back to Ohio with us. He could stay at one of our houses, so it's not like he'd be homeless. And Rachel's like, not like there's not a quiet dignity in that.
It was such a Rachel line, actually.
Offensive, and I was like, that's Rachel, though.
Yes, I actually laughed. I was like, yeah, that's definitely Rachel.
Yeah. And then the Dwight Evans asks them to step in the other room and look busy. And Finn's like, yeah, I'm great at making myself look busy.
A very good Finn line.
I was so proud.
And they step in the other room, and then they're talking with Sam, and Sam's like, I really miss being a teenager. You know, you had to grow up so fast. We're so proud of you. If this is really what you want, we're happy. We're happy for you. We'll let you do it. But his mom cries and is like, I'll just miss seeing your face every day, even though I don't know why Dairy Queen makes you put glitter all over it.
Oh, yeah. So this conversation, fine, I guess. There's no conflict. It's just them talking.
There's no conflict, even when Sam said there would be conflict.
Yeah.
He's like, my dad will never let me. And they're like, you just have to ask him.
Was literally so simple. All he had to do was ask, and that was it. So my thing is, this conversation is pretty inconsequential when, like, there are so many other conversations we've said that we've wanted to see that would be consequential to the story and to character development. Like, we've seen people, aka Blaine, transfer schools at the drop of a hat, just like that. And, like, we've never even met that kid's parents. We don't even know if he has parents. So, like, I don't know. I literally wrote, like, this conversation is pointless.
The only thing that it told us is that Sam has a nice family.
Yeah.
Very supportive parents.
Yeah. They're really nice people. And they live in a nice kitchen.
Maybe that's their home. Maybe they only live in the kitchen.
The only part of us.
What they didn't show us was the cots on the other side.
We figured it out, guys.
I figured it out.
Yeah. So the reason Sam, from my knowledge, the reason Sam wasn't in the first half of this season was because of contract disputes. So they resolved whatever contract they had, or Sam just wanted to be back on Glee. And so they had to find a way to get him back on. And this was their way of doing it.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they had to make him move to Kentucky. Like, they probably did that. So it was like, oh, there's no way he's going to come back. He's in a different state. Well, joke's on you guys. You had to bring him back. But, like, they could have just, I don't know, be like, he lives in, I don't know, like,
Westerville.
He lives in Westerville. He lives right next to Dalton Academy.
He transferred to Dalton.
Yeah, like,
I can't afford that.
I don't know. It just, they should have sang another Michael Jackson number in this time.
I'm going to counter with, if they didn't have this conversation on screen, he would come back and be like, why didn't we have this conversation on screen?
That's true. That's true. But I kind of think this one's pointless.
I want this conversation, but I want there to be conflict in it. I want them to be like, no,
maybe,
you can't go, or like, who are you going to stay with, and like bring up logical questions from logical, caring parents who are worried about you.
Finn and Rachel had that all figured out. They're like, oh, he can stay at one of our houses, and the parents should have been like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Like,
do I know your parents?
Yeah.
Have you talked to them about this?
Finn could be like, my dad's a congressman. Cool. So your dad's going to be gone most of the year. So there's going to be no parental supervision. So, yeah, I think you're right. Like, there should be conflict. But, yeah, maybe that's my real problem.
And mild spoiler, when Rachel and Finn graduate, Sam still goes to McKinley. Where is he living? We don't know.
Wow.
Maybe he's like an exchange student still staying at their house with their parents.
Maybe.
Exchange student from Kentucky. All the way from Kentucky.
But Sam is back, which is what we all wanted anyway. And so they're like, we know you don't care if this makes sense. You just want Sam back. And we're like, you're right. Give us Sam.
Yeah. Give us someone to like.
Give us white chocolate.
Oh
no. I'm not going to refer to him only as white chocolate. No, that's kind of demeaning. But I mean, Trouty Mouth isn't that much better.
I mean, Golden Retriever.
Golden Retriever's great.
Okay.
Golden Retriever
is like questionable because they're a dog, but they're like they're a great dog. So
they're basically humans.
Yeah.
They're better than people. That's a compliment.
Yes. Okay.
Studies show white juries show more sympathy for dogs than people of color in the court system. So.
Whoa. What a hot fact. Ow, that burns. That actually burns.
Oh no.
Sorry to go there. But that's what that made me think of.
And that's political talk with Cullen. Da-na-na-na.
I mean, people also are more sympathetic to when dogs die on screen than any type of color of child. So
True.
Yeah.
When I see a movie and a dog dies, I'm like, they killed the dog?
Yeah, and then it's like all those Marvel movies, like millions of people died. Okay. But the dog? No. I think about all the dogs. No, I'm kidding. That's awful. I actually don't even blink twice when people talk about all the people who've died in Marvel movies. I'm like, oh yeah, there are people in this world.
Do you remember that TV show that they came out with that was like insurance for superhero
I
conflicts?
heard about this. I never saw it, but I
think it got canceled early, so it only had like 5 episodes or something.
Interesting.
Vanessa Hudgens was in it. She had to go on to star in Princess Switch and Princess Switch 2 Electric Boogaloo.
That is not the name of the second one.
It is not.
Okay,
That's what
I was gonna be like, are you kidding? I hope it is.
Three Vanessa Hudgens in one movie.
Is that what? Okay, we have to have a podcast about these weird movies. I need an outlet to talk about things I haven't seen yet that I'm going to binge.
So, Sam comes back, and then he sings Toby Keith's Red Solo Cup.
I did not realize that was Toby Keith.
Yeah, he's like, let's get some country up in this joint. And everyone's, because he comes in and Mike practically trips over his chair. He's like, Sam. And everyone's Quinn gives him a big hug.
They're all happy to see him.
Yeah. I fast forwarded through Red Solo Cup because I do not like that song.
I remember it was big.
Okay, I remember watching and like when they opened their little sparkling whatever, I was like, this is so inappropriate. Like, isn't this for teenagers? We are just encouraging drinking and underage drama. Like, what is this? But also, okay, not surprised.
Yeah, I literally was like, they're going to literally sing a song about drinking and Shu is just going to encourage it. He was part of the plan. Yes.
Yeah, he brought them cups to drink whatever beverage.
Oh, guys, I have the perfect song for you. We don't do enough country music. And Sam was like, yeah, oh, hi, Fiero. She's like sniffing my feet. But like they literally don't do enough country music. So they're like, we're going to do a really inappropriate one instead of a song about a truck and a dog.
What's popular?
I definitely fast forwarded too.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was so boring.
There were 2 other numbers I fast forwarded through too. Sorry.
I'm crying.
The best though during this number was Kurt just being like bewildered by it.
I'm disappointed on his face. He was like, no, we're not.
And then the scene ends with Santana coming in.
Yeah, she comes in with a little notebook. She's like, I wrote a notebook just in case you ever came back. And she has this tiny little notebook in her hands, and she's like, I've been so sad since your family packed their bags in your enormous mouth and moved to Kentucky. If I ever want to enjoy a crisp pickle, I had no one to suck the lid off the jar. Just a bunch of mouth jokes.
This solves 2 mysteries for me. Number 1, Santana actually does think of these ahead of time. Number 2, the writers have a list.
Yes. They have a list and they're like, shit, the actor who plays Sam Evans is gone. What are we going to do with all these insults? And then he comes back, they're like, Santana has a little red book of insults. I literally wrote, why are they friends with her? That came up, last week or the week before? I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Miro, can you please stop making noise? Thank you. I was like, why are they friends with her if she's literally just like doling out these insults?
Sam seemed to not mind. He was like, I missed you too.
Yeah, it was like almost like he acknowledged that it was her way of showing affection or something.
I guess. I don't know. It's become very troublesome for me.
Maybe trouble tones.
Hey.
What is it, Fiero?
She's literally, did you hear her go,
Yeah.
What do you want to say? What do you have to say to the people? I guess nothing. I guess we have to wait. She's thinking about it.
Needs attention.
Yeah.
So, meanwhile, Quinn runs up to Sam and is all like, hey, like, I didn't appreciate you last year. Mercedes has a new boyfriend. And he's like, nice to see you too, Quinn. What do you want? And she's like, I think we should be together. I'm going to get Beth back. And I think you'd be a great dad.
Oh my God. He literally gets back from literally taking care of 2 other children, like his 2 siblings, helping with that, wanting to be a teen again. And literally she's like, hey, come be a dad.
And he tells her she has rich white girl problems.
Why didn't he be like, what do you mean get Beth back? Like, why, that should have been the reaction. Like, you mean the baby that you adopted out? What?
And also, like, no, I don't want to be a dad right now.
Yeah.
It's
like
a problem.
And then he could be like, now you have rich white girl problems. Like, instead of, yeah, I would lead with that. Lead with the no.
Yeah, and he's like, have you ever heard the song Little Pink Houses by the song Jack and Diane by John Mellencamp? And she's like, please don't sing. And he's like, there's this line, hold on to 16 as long as you can. You should do that.
Yeah, he's like, you only have 1 senior year. And I was like, yeah, I guess that's true. And that was it.
How long can you hold on to 16, guys? Trick question.
You can't. You can hold on it for exactly 365 days.
There you go.
Age comes for us all.
Or depending on if it's a leap year.
True. Very true.
Yeah.
Age comes for us all. It's cryptic, but true.
Actually, I mean, it
What?
doesn't come for all of us.
Oh, Alyssa.
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 I'm sorry.
That's true too, but that's sad.
Time for another drink.
Bobby's making another drink.
Yikes, honey. That was not
Everybody
okay.
drink. We said yikes, and it wasn't even about the show.
Come on, you guys. You know me by now. I'm going to
I
say
know.
that nobody says.
Guys, this is all first impressions for me, and I'm getting dark vibes now.
Yeah, she does have a bit of a dark aura, but it's a fun dark aura.
We love that.
Yeah, I'm like a fun dark aura. So, like, the night sky with stars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the occasional just like asteroid out in space that could come plummet toward Earth.
Yes. And then definitely also some space trash.
I'm weak. I was like following, and then we were talking about asteroids. So,
Anyway.
Okay. So speaking of, I don't know what we're speaking of, but Mercedes is walking down the hall and Sam runs up to her and she's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm holding your hand. And she's like, stop. I have a boyfriend and he has a full ride scholarship to Ohio State and he's huge and we couldn't afford to have him in this episode.
Right.
And Sam is like, I want to be with you. And she's all like, we were a summer fling. He's like, we were more than that. And I don't care how big or bad your boyfriend is. I'm going to fight to get you back.
How'd you guys feel about that?
Everything that comes out of my golden retriever's mouth is gold.
Okay.
I think the actor pulls it off as charming, but I think the whole, no matter what you say, I'm going to chase you is a little stressful.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I was charmed by it. I was like, oh, that's kind of cute. But then because I literally was like, I don't want to say this, but that line is actually kind of cute. And I think you're right. I think it's the actor who really kind of
Oh yeah, it's definitely
made
him.
this very aggressive line come off a lot more charming than some other people could have made it.
And Mercedes' reaction too, because you can see her walking down the hallway and she's like kind of into it.
Yeah.
So that definitely helps, because if she had a bad reaction to that, we would all be really creeped out.
Yeah. Yeah, her reacting that way helps the medicine go down.
Mm-hmm.
Spoonful of sugar, baby.
He is a spoonful of sugar. White chocolate.
So that's basically the end of the Sam's coming back storyline. So we're going to talk about Tina and Mike. So Tina is talking to Mike about like, oh, you need to apply to these dance schools. And he's all like, I already applied to Stanford for pre-med. I don't want to tear my family apart. My dad and my mom aren't speaking now because of this.
Mm-hmm.
And Tina's like, but dancing is your dream. And he's all like, if you can't understand why I want to do this, then maybe my dad's right and we shouldn't be together.
That's harsh.
Yeah, it was like the whole scene. I can see how and why it happened that way. I wasn't super impressed with Mike's reaction, but also he's a teenage boy. So,
True.
And he's super stressed out about this thing.
Yeah, I definitely thought it was somewhat realistic, even though like I was like, oh, why'd you have to say that about your dad not wanting you guys to be together? But I guess it makes sense, because he's coming at it from like, if you can't understand why like I need to do this for my family, then like maybe we really shouldn't be together kind of thing. It was still kind of harsh. Made me sad.
It didn't really feel like it felt like a realistic scene, but it didn't feel like a sincere line on his part. Not that the actor wasn't playing it well. That like a teenage boy in this situation is probably gonna say whatever jumps into their mind first, but I don't think he was actually like seriously thinking about breaking up with her.
Yeah, it's the show reminding us, being like, hey, remember this?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when his dad tried to get them to break up?
Mm-hmm.
Using the principal's help?
Yeah, because she's a vampire.
Yeah.
So then Tina goes to Mike's dad's office with a bootleg copy of the school musical West Side Story, and is like, your son you should watch it because your son was amazing in it. He really wants to be a dancer. He wants to follow his dream, and you should support him. And he's like, you want to be a performer too? And he's like, there's going to be so few opportunities for you. And she's like, yeah, I heard the jokes about that they've had to do a musical of the Joy Luck Club or Memoirs of a Geisha, but I don't care. It's my passion. And he's like, and your parents know about this? She's like, yeah, they love me. He's like, yeah, they love you, but they're not honest with you.
Yikes.
This whole conversation felt like it should have gotten more heated than it actually did, in my opinion, with these lines. Because if he says that, or do your parents, what was his line?
They love you, but they aren't honest with you.
No, before that.
And your parents know about this?
Yes, your parents know about this. And then she says, yeah, they love me. Like, bells going off. Like, are you implying that I don't love my son?
Yeah, I thought that's how it was going to go too.
Mm-hmm. And then he goes and says, they might love you, but they're not being honest with you. Like, then he is insulting their parenting skills. So there's a lot of like high tension lines that really aren't played as for being the amount of stress that it would bring to a conversation. I feel like it wasn't played off that way.
Yeah, it was very understated. The other thing that actually I didn't quite think about was when he was like, there's going to be so few opportunities, like there's going to be such heartache. I thought he just meant that like it's just hard being an actor. I actually didn't think about it from like the perspective of her being Asian, that like roles would be so hard to come by. So that was actually something that surprised me, that sort of very tailored angle. I just kind of thought it would be generalized, but actually, in a weird way, it made me understand his dad a lot more because if that's sort of what he was going for, he kind of wanted to protect his son from possibly racism in the industry, let alone just the industry being a machine. Yeah, I just thought that was really very interesting.
I also was not expecting that either.
Mm-hmm.
So it was surprising.
It was an interesting scene. Tina got a lot of lines. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll
Can't wait
see.
for Tina time.
So then, so now we're gonna jump. We're gonna jump to Blurt.
Oh boy.
So they're in the coffee shop. They're in the Lima Bean, which I guess is in Lima, not Westerville.
Kurt and Blaine.
Or in between.
Yeah, Kurt and Blaine, and they're talking about Blaine is like, New Directions is a mess, and anytime I open my mouth to help, Finn gives me this look like, what does he think he's doing? And he's like, I know what I'm doing. And then Sebastian comes up and is all like, hey, I've been checking this guy out, and then I realized I know that hair, that's Blaine. And then he sits with them, and Blaine's like, I need another coffee. And then Sebastian and Kurt have a little bit of a cat fight.
Yeah.
Where he's like, Kurt's like, I don't like you.
I vaguely remember hearing you smell like Craigslist, and I was like,
Yes.
you said that.
Yes, I wrote that one down too.
I was there for it. I was like, this is the scene that I want between Kurt and
It was
God, what's his name?
Sebastian.
Sebastian. I almost called him Kenneth.
Kenneth.
The casual shade we were not ready for in that scene. It was just so back and forth, like,
Yeah.
oh, damn.
Kurt said, I hate your meerkat face. And then I went, oh my God, he does kind of look like a meerkat. I never thought about that, but now I see it. Yeah.
And your
Also,
CW hair, which is ironic because he will go on to put Flash on the CW.
I didn't even connect that. That's so funny.
Oh, wow, I see it now. Okay, never mind.
And then like I thought it's super shitty, but also very bold of him to literally sit down and start with, or him to approach them and literally start with, I was checking this guy out and turns out it was you, like literally in front of Kurt. I was like, wow, okay, bitch, let's go.
He did a good job defending his relationship.
Yeah, and also like Sebastian sat right next to Blaine, like not even like on the other side, like in between them. He literally like had the chair and like right next to Blaine.
He's like, Kurt. Yeah, oh, Kurt, tell Blaine his hair looks sexy, push back.
Mm-hmm. Quite literally.
Yeah. And Blaine comes back and they're like, oh, we're just talking about next time we're going to go drinking.
Never.
Yeah. And so that's the end of that little storyline, except for Sebastian is at regionals sectionals clapping for Blaine, and you see Kurt have a shocked face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that actor got paid.
For that tiny scene, that was some good money. Just to stand up and clap and look on just in awe.
So now let's get to the competition storyline. So Sam they're like practicing dancing, and Blaine is like, we're gonna do this move. They're like, let's try this move. And Will's like, I love it. And Sam's like, that is too boy band. We need to sell sex. We need to do a body roll. And Finn's like, oh, I like that. And Blaine is like, what's that? It's cheap. I'm not gonna do that. And Sam's like, oh, we need to do this to win. And he's like, I'm not for sale. Blaine is all like high and mighty, like, because he knows Sam was a stripper.
That's what I was confused about. How did he know that? Did it just like it came from Finn to Kurt to Blaine, I'm assuming?
I'm guessing, yeah.
Just the household grapevine. Okay. I can understand that. That's what I assumed, but I thought maybe I missed something. I think like the main thing of that was that like he was like, all you do is just kind of stare at the girls because, they've got like twirls and stuff and they can sort of show off. And they were trying to find something to show off their assets. And so that's what they came up with, which I guess I'm confused. Do they end up landing on doing that? Or do they try to do like a mix of something?
I think
just what's his name did it.
Yeah, I know Sam did a little, but in the dancing, I
like
couldn't
one.
tell. Yeah.
Yeah, in the actual scene where they're doing the numbers, it wasn't very obvious that they were actually doing like
sex stuff.
Yeah, like body roll.
Yeah, I need to not say it like that.
But
sexy dance moves. They were doing sex stuff on stage.
The interesting thing is,
missed that scene.
A lot of their dance moves and the costumes they were wearing were very masculine, but they weren't necessarily like sexy masculine. It was just masculine.
Yeah.
They were all wearing like tuxedos.
Yeah, and it was like white top tuxedos too, which I think some people looked good. Other people, I was like, I don't know if it feels like it's washing you out. Like, anyway, enough with the fashion talk until we get to the actual numbers. The important thing that I wanted to point out is that they put the bass player, the drummer, and I don't know what other instrument the other guy played, but basically the band that plays in the choir room, they put them in New Directions. And I was like, oh my God, they're singing in air quotes.
They don't even have names.
Nope. I think they literally call them bass player and stuff like that. Like shaggy haired bass player, aka
Bobo Jackson
from Jackson from Hannah Montana. It's his lookalike.
Yeah, like they're giving them advice, and Blaine is like, sing from your diaphragm, and Finn's just like, if you forget the words, just move your lips.
Which, to be honest, is not bad advice. They have not been there very long.
Yeah.
That and the fact that it's coming from Finn makes me just know that he's done that before when he's not doing a solo part. He probably learns the solos and then that's it.
Yeah. So then after Blaine storms off and says, I'm not for sale, and we get more shaming of Sam for his dirty, dirty career.
I actually really liked that scene. I didn't agree with what Blaine said, but it made me like feel all upset. It was good conflict.
Yeah, it was a good, and it actually came from performing, which so many times they're bringing in all this other stuff when performing itself already generates a lot of drama.
Yeah.
And so Finn comes in and Blaine is punching a punching bag. He comes into the locker room and he's like, is Sam's face on there? He's like, yeah, yours too. And Finn is all like, whoa, what? And Blaine is like, don't act so surprised. You've been on me since I got here. And he's like, why is that? And he's like, I took up boxing after I got bullied so much. And Finn is like, sorry, I'm jealous of you. Like, you're such a good performer, and I didn't know I could compete, which is pretty honest.
Yeah, Blaine literally confronts him, is like, what is your problem with me? And then Finn just comes right out with it.
Yeah. Very self-aware.
Yeah.
And they agree for the sake of the team to put their differences aside and work together.
If Finn was this good of a leader every time we saw him, he would be having many, many shiny gold stars.
Okay. He would have lots of badges on his sash.
I thought you were going to say the Trouble Tones wouldn't exist, because then he would have. Yeah.
That's a good point.
It's
the
true,
Trouble
though.
Tones probably wouldn't exist, or it would still just be Sugar.
Yeah.
Sugar and Shelby just hanging out. Shelby tearing out her hair.
Yeah, so now it's time for, first the Trouble Tones come in and they wish the New Directions good luck. And they're like, hey.
Because sectionals are at McKinley.
Yeah.
Which took me a second to realize was happening. I was like, wait, are they doing a dress rehearsal? And I was like, oh, no, this is the competition.
They actually say it, though, in like a a scene before this. They're like, it's been such and such years since sectionals have been here.
Missed that.
I don't even know what scene it was.
Finn says it when they're planning about getting Sam back.
Oh, so that was
okay.
like way early on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cullen, I need your memory.
Yeah, really. I think it was I was distracted by even homeless people have Facebook that I was just like, that's the only thing I remembered. Everything else got blocked out.
Yikes.
Drink.
Nice. We all drank. So yeah, so the Trouble Tones are like, if we win and you guys lose, anyone can join the Trouble Tones for regionals. Which is a little presumptuous. They're like, that's kind of rude. And Santana's like, we're being nice. If I was being rude, I'd play I almost said a banjo, a tuba every time you took a step. And
I actually thought it was to like, and maybe this was just me, but it was to kind of like psych them out a bit, to kind of get them like in their own heads. I thought that was an interesting tactic. I don't think it worked. And I actually don't think the show was actually going for that. I think they were genuinely trying to be like, here's the Trouble Tones, trying to make amends, you know.
yeah.
Which I actually kind of got it. I was like, oh, okay. And then they were like, that's so rude. And I was like,
Oh.
yes, I guess it is.
Yeah. I think you saying like that's presumptuous. Yeah, like.
Well, I mean, before the conversation went off the rails and everyone got offended, I was thinking that the New Directions were going to respond with like, oh, okay. And then if we win, you guys can come with us.
Right.
But then that's not what happened at all.
They're like, how dare you assume?
I mean, it definitely would have been come off as a nicer gesture if it happened after they won instead of before.
Right.
Yeah.
Or if it was like, well, did they say if we win or when we win? I don't remember. But I guess like maybe after, if they both performed and they kind of just like met up right before, you know, they went out on stage to see the results. If they were like, you know what, if we win, you guys can come join us. I think maybe that might have been a bit better.
Yeah.
Well, even if like they made this decision together, it's sort of like, okay, we have this idea that if either of us win, the other group can come.
Yeah, and they come to an agreement about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They could have done that during the Santana intervention thing.
Yeah.
That would have been a perfect opportunity to be like, you know what? We came together to sing at our friend because she's gay. And you know what? Let's come together as a team, as a school. But
Quinn is all like, Puck's going to come through for us. He has star power. Don't you think, Shelby? And it was awkward, and Shelby just has this horrified look.
Yeah.
As she should.
Because she messed up big time.
Yeah. Drink. I also like, I don't know why like no one reacted to that line. Everyone else should have been like,
what the fuck, Quinn?
Why is she pointing out?
Or at least Puck. Like, we didn't even get a reaction from him, and he's the one that told her, and now...
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. He really just like wasn't there. He was in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's see. So
Side note, can we talk about Puck's hair?
Absolutely.
Like, oh my gosh.
Gross.
What?
Yeah.
What? That's
I don't know.
That's all I have.
There was a point on the show, you may have remembered, earlier on, like he had the mohawk and then he shaved it.
Right.
That was refreshing.
Was that when
like,
he went to Juvie?
I think so. Maybe.
They made him shave the mohawk. That's why.
Something like that, maybe. Or no, he had to shave it because there was a mole on his head. Why am I remembering this? Anyway, but he shaved it and it was like, okay, this is like doable. And then now his mohawk like comes to the side and it looks greasy all the time. I'm not about it.
Mm-mm. No, not a good style.
Yeah. So we're at Quinn. Quinn is weird to Shelby is what it says in my notes.
Accurate.
And then Mike is mad at Tina for talking to his dad because he's like, why did you just do that? Like, my dad almost didn't let me come today.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm disappointed in you.
And Tina's like, I'm disappointed in you too.
Mm-hmm.
Is this at the point where she calls him a coward?
Yep. Mm-hmm. I think that's when she calls him a coward.
Yeah.
And he's like, don't call me that.
Yeah, it was actually, that was my favorite, like, reaction. Like, Mike's performance in this scene was top notch. I loved it.
It was intense.
Mm-hmm. But also, I would have been super mad if my partner had gone behind my back and talked to my parents about something.
I have a note about that later on too. About that same thing, because I thought that as well.
Yeah. There's some TV logic happening. Things that happen on TV but don't happen in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it happens, it does not end happily.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. So then we have the return of Harmony.
Yeah. The Gerber baby.
The Gerber baby. What was her name on the Glee project? Her real
Lindsay
name.
Pierce.
Lindsay Pierce. I was like trying to remember.
Glee project season 1, winner 1 of 4 that was presented on the season.
So
many winners.
Kurt is like, oh my gosh, it's the Gerber baby. And she sings with her, she's part of a group called the Unitards.
Wow. What a dumb name.
It's not even
clever.
No.
It's just
Most of them
the
are
word.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
What do they sing?
Buenos Aires from Evita.
Okay, I knew it was from Evita. I've never seen it, so.
It was really a cute song. I really enjoyed it. That was the first time I heard that song.
Yeah, me too. I didn't mind it. Actually, like I almost like fast forward through it, and then I didn't because like they were doing like some like moves with their dress. I was like, oh, this is kind of fun, and I just like put my remote down and I was just sat there and watched it. It was kind of fun. I kind of liked it.
Their outfits were really cute too. I was like, okay, girl, let's do this.
Yeah.
It was like cute, but I don't think it was show stopping, honestly, because Bert and Rachel were having like such huge reactions to it, and I was like, well, I guess it's okay, but it's not like the best thing I've ever seen.
I think because they mentioned later on in this sort of sequence, she mentions, oh yeah, it's only sophomore year. So maybe they were freaked out because she's only in 10th grade that she's already this talented. Maybe
it would have been good if they mentioned it there
before. Yeah.
Well, I thought it was funny when Rachel was like, it should be me up there singing that song. And then her and Kurt are both kind of like mouthing along.
That was actually really funny.
That was cute.
Honestly, I would have liked to hear Rachel sing it and like all the, the directions, but it is what it is.
Yeah. I also like noticed that no one else really was singing except for her, which, could just be symptom of the song. But I don't think I heard anyone else's voice really until like halfway through the song, and I heard background, and I was like, interesting choice. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It definitely was just her, except for like the background singing.
Yeah. And then Quinn leaves the auditorium and Rachel follows her, and she's like, you're going to tell Figgins about Shelby and Puck. And she's like, yep. And then we're going to win. And she's like, at least wait to do it till after the Trouble Tones perform. Our friends worked really hard on this, and we want to give them a chance to perform, and at least talk to Shelby first because it's the grown-up thing to do. Because Quinn's like, I'm an adult. You can't tell me what to do. And I'm like, you are a literal child.
Yeah. Well, honestly, when she said, I'm an adult, I was thinking, oh, she's 18? She's not 18. And that was clarified later in the episode.
Yep. Because I thought that too. And then she's like, oh, I'm 17. And I'm like, excuse me? Come again? Then you are not an adult.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. And so Rachel's like, I got a taste of what it's like to do the wrong thing recently, and it doesn't feel good. And I'm like, recently?
It's
Remember when you
every other
sent
episode.
Sunshine Corazon to a crack house?
It wasn't an active crack house, Cullen.
We start going through the list. Okay, recently, let's check off everything you've done. That
Seriously,
is
I got my notes. So we
questionable
can
to
go
me.
back through them.
Every episode.
Yeah, it was also an oddly selfless thing for her to do, is to stop Quinn because she doesn't want her friends to be punished for it. Like, she's like, at least wait. Yeah, she's like, at least wait until after the number's over and tell Shelby first. Like, that's the adult thing to do. And I'm like, who is this person in front of me? I don't recognize this Rachel Berry.
This is the Rachel who actually learned all the lessons the show has her learn. In this one episode in this universe, this is the Rachel that learned all those lessons.
Wait, we've been watching the evil twin the whole time.
Yes.
This is the one episode where, like, the normal version of Rachel Berry exists.
Yes.
Yes. And so Quinn goes to talk to Shelby. She's like, I'm going to tell Figgins about you and Puck. And Shelby is all like, you're so young and pretty. That goes away, you know. It's not the pretty, you'll always be pretty, which is the second time someone has confronted Quinn's pain with you're pretty.
Yeah, the other one was Rachel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's
and
also
then-
like, I'm going to end it with Puck. And it's like, so?
You slept with your student.
Like, I can still tell on you.
Still gonna tell the principal, honey. Oh.
Yeah. And she's like, you know, I thought sleeping with an 18-year-old would make me feel young again, but it just made me feel older. And I'm like, this is so gross. You're such a gross woman. And Quinn is all like, I would have been fine if you didn't come back. How dare you do this? Which is what we've been saying all along.
That was literally, and honestly, I think she would have. I think she would have been able to come out of that weird, like, smoking punk phase, keep her pink hair and her nose piercing, and, like, move on with her life in some other way. But yeah, also, like, I literally, like, screamed when Quinn said that. I was like, yes, like, that's exactly it. That's what's wrong. Like, bringing Beth back into her life, like, forcing this upon her, again, never talking to their parents about it. And it's just like, Shelby never apologizes for traumatizing her. She never apologizes.
She does.
When does
Not
she apologize?
adequately, but she does say, like, for the record, I'm sorry, Quinn, before she leaves the room.
Oh, see, I didn't attach it to that. I was attaching it to the, like, just, like, the general conversation they had rather than, like, the whole experience.
I mean, that could be fair. I didn't think it was an adequate apology. Yeah.
Real quick, guys, I think you need to introduce your cats because they are so cute and they are getting screen time right now. And they're just so adorable. Who's this in the back?
This is Suki. She's my
Suki.
fur baby.
She's kneading the blanket right now.
Yeah, she's making biscuits with the blanket.
Oh, we love that. She's so cute.
Yarrow's in the other room, but she's also a podcat. She will sometimes come in and scream into the mic. So, yeah.
We know. We all need attention in different ways.
It's true. I wish I could just go into a room and scream.
Love me.
Sometimes you need to do that because that is what some of us need.
I'm upset. I'm hungry. I'm gonna start doing that in my apartment and see how my roommates react. They're gonna be like, okay, Fierro.
I definitely tell my managers that. I'm like, all right, it's time for lunch. I'm leaving. Goodbye.
And then it goes on to the Trouble Tones performance.
Banger.
Yeah, they're performing a mashup of Survivor and I Will Survive.
I don't have that on my Glee songs I actually like playlist. Guess what's going on my Glee songs I actually like playlist tonight? That song. I don't remember this ever happening. I was beside myself. I loved every second of it. It was amazing. There was lady tangos. There was dips. There was lots of shimmies. It was amazing.
I did not like whatever they were doing with their arms. I mean, they were just like flailing.
They're like doing this. You're like,
literally their arms were just flailing all over the place, and it seemed like really sloppy choreography.
It was like a fun version of those blow up things outside of car dealerships. Those are my hangers above me. Yeah, that was the I'm selling cars. To a Destiny's Child song? Yeah, it works. It works.
It was a good song. Not a fan of the flailing arms.
Agree to disagree. No, I actually agree. That was because I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And at the end they all like fall down on the ground like they're dead.
Like drag queens on RuPaul's Drag Race.
And then during their number, like you see Sam like bopping along to Mercedes singing, and then Finn and Blaine are like, "We got this." And I'm like, that is very confident because this is a great performance.
Yeah. It's fantastic, actually.
And then the New Directions go, and they do a Jackson medley. They open with ABC, followed by Control, followed by Man in the Mirror.
I fast forwarded through Control and Man in the Mirror. So I fast forward through Control thinking they're just going to do 2 songs. They did 3 songs. And I got to like, there was like smoke, and then they started singing Man in the Mirror, and Finn walks up and I was like, no, I can't. I can't. So.
Wait, this might be a dumb question, but why did they get 3 songs and everyone else just did 1?
That's a great
question. I was like, of course you're going to win. You did 3 songs. Sit down. Your first song was disgusting, but that's just me. Your second song was mediocre, but sure, you do 3 songs, you're going to win. But the other one just did 1 song, and it was pretty good. And your 3 songs, compared but barely. So what's happening? Why did you get 3 and everyone else got 1?
That's a terrific question.
Pretty
I haven't watched enough to know.
Honestly, anytime they're in a competition, they get more than everybody else.
But I would figure that the treble tones, given that's like a couple major people from the New Directions, also that announcer definitely said nude erections. I know that. Okay, so they definitely called them nude erections. But like, I thought ABC was the most watchable, but toward the actually halfway through the song, I was like, I get it. Let's
ABC's was boring. Like their choreography was very dull. I was like, all right. And then I was waiting for the whole sexy roll, and it didn't happen.
Exactly, it never happened.
You guys suck. You came in
started
first.
off with his weird like biting his lips and shimmy, and I was like, he has a long ways to go, but you know what he's doing? He's putting in work. For me, it was the most watchable, clearly, because like I listened to some of it and I watched some of it, and then we got to the other numbers and I was like, I get what this is.
Okay, did you guys see this scene where Kurt made eye contact with what's his name? The other guy who was like hitting on his boyfriend?
Yes.
Yeah, and then he was like, okay, we're gonna do something cool. But he just jumped over another guy, and I was like, I thought you were gonna do the sexy hip roll to be like, This is my territory, go away. But it didn't happen. I was like, all right, you could have done better, sweetie, but that's just me.
That's a good point. Mostly throughout that Jackson medley, I was focused on Mike's dad. That's the content I wanted to see, was those reactions.
Hot take. I really love the Glee Jackson medley.
I know you do.
I listen to it all the time.
I also loved it.
Wow. At least it's not a divided house. Wow. So you even liked I didn't like Control. I don't even think I like the song Control. I don't even think I like the song Man in the Mirror either.
I love Michael Jackson's songs. And I
Well, then you're gonna love in a couple episodes.
I was jamming.
Yeah, it was cute. I thought it was a good refresher because like the one before them was like, oh, you can't let me down. And they're like, okay, well, here's something casual and fun. But it also wasn't like the best it could have been.
Honestly,
especially because it was at their school.
That's
like,
true.
Come on, show that you own the property.
That's why they got 3 songs.
There you go.
They're like, we are going to take up way more time.
Control
It was fun to listen to, and I liked that they had a girl leading.
Yes.
But overall, it was just like, okay, what's next?
Control is interesting to me. Quinn delivering the first bit of that song was interesting for me. And so like she's the one who really got me into Control as a song. But I was waiting the entire time for some like really impressive choreography from Mike. And I never got it.
Because that's what I was thinking would happen, especially because his dad was there. He would be able to like really show him like, yeah, I got this.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I don't know, maybe it was just more of like the joy of performing that his dad got to see, which I think is equally important, but not as visually interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I like that they did do it like a continuous group choreography rather than Mike being like, okay, I'm going to do 4 backflips and show my dad just how cool I am.
Yeah.
Like, here's our group. We're all together. We're not going to do anything incredible, but we worked hard on this. Like, okay.
Yeah, that was actually something I really liked about the number as a whole, was that like, you know, I watched a little bit of each one, and I did watch the first one in whole.
You're so full of it, Hannah.
What?
Like, this is what I loved about this number. I didn't watch the whole thing, but
what I liked is that they're showcasing different people.
No,
so Quinn and Klaine was in Control. I'll prove it to you. And Finn was Man in the Mirror, and I think also Artie was Man in the Mirror and Control. And ABC. So like everyone kind of got featured, which was really awesome because like they don't do that when Rachel's there. Like,
yeah,
it's really just Rachel and Finn. So I was like, they should do this even when Rachel is there. Like, feature everyone, because it seems more like a group effort rather than like the Rachel show or like the Harmony show. Like, Harmony's number was just them.
Yeah.
And like, while I love Santana and Mercedes, like their voices together, that was the Santana show, which like I thought was kind of a bummer. Except I think I noted I was paying really close attention for some reason to Sugar, and she was the what part in the song of Survivor. So she got a little.
Wait, what is Sugar?
Sugar is, she is.
How to explain Sugar?
How to explain her?
She was.
Who is she?
So she was the 4th girl at the spoilers at the end when they all rejoin, and there's 4 girls from the Trouble Tones.
Yes,
she's the 4th one. She's with the brown hair and in like the pink suit.
Oh no, I'm gonna have to rewatch. I don't remember this person.
She's basically the reason the Trouble Tones exist in general, and it's because she's basically tone deaf. She's like a really bad singer, and she came in hot to the Glee Club and was like, I can make you guys better. I'm awesome. And she sang and she was awful. And they said no. And then she's so rich that she got her dad to pay for another Glee Club, aka the Trouble Tones.
Wait, this was in the episode?
No. This was the beginning of the season.
That's why I don't know.
Yeah. A little refresher for you and for everyone else, because Sugar, she hasn't really been a thing. I'm surprised she got to join New Directions at the end.
Honestly, same.
She's just going to be their single word shout person.
I did love when they were introducing the judges. The judges weren't that funny. They were like the DMV Employee of the Month and Tickles the Birthday Clown. But when he stood up, it like panned to the group and you could see Sugar being like, tickles.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, can we talk about the award ceremony part? Because I want to talk about one of the jokes.
Yeah, I think we did the Jackson medley. Yeah, we're at the award ceremony.
So Tickles the clown introduces himself, and he's like, "I'm so glad to work with kids that are sick with talent." And everyone is so quiet. I laughed out loud so hard, and I didn't want to.
Like, Tickles, your pain is real.
It was
Yes.
just kids that are sick with talent. Oh.
Yeah.
That awkward pause we just had equal to the awkward pause in that scene.
Yeah, that's that. I'm weak.
So the New Directions win. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, what were the unitards? They got
Unitards-
third place. They were so happy, and I was like, "That's literally the worst you can do here. Why are you like you? This is a consolation prize."
And
This is-
Kurt was
I think
Entered.
What's Her Name kind of answered that too, because What's Her Name was like, yeah, I'm just a sophomore. Imagine what I can do as a whatever. And Kurt was like, oh, okay, I'm screwed, but you know.
What does she say? It's something really dark, and I was like, yes,
next year's gonna be a bloodbath.
yes. Next year's gonna
Yes.
be.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that was it. And Kurt was like, oh, shit, I'm screwed.
That was little
but, you
Lindsay
know.
Pierce coming out.
Yes, and I was like,
Love that.
you go. You just murder all of those people. I'm here for it.
No, don't murder all those people.
Okay, no murdering, just maiming.
Don't take advice from Gleeboot.
See, I thought you were gonna say don't take advice from Alyssa, which is equally good advice.
No, I think the show as a whole can give some bad advice. Sometimes it's sarcasm and people may not get it. So I think that's a good
Disclaimer.
yeah, a good disclaimer. Good overall statement.
So yeah, so then when they win, it cuts to the Trouble Tones just standing there, dejected, and everyone leaves the theater and they're alone.
Yeah. Shu, they're holding up the trophy and he like kisses to Emma on the
Emma.
stage. He goes, "For you." And I'm like, you didn't do anything. And it's for the kids. The kids did it for themselves.
Mhm.
Shut up.
You know, she was there for one reason, to relive his teenage glory days that he didn't get.
Yeah.
But, you know.
True.
That's
That's
really who
the
it's for.
fun.
He was looking at a mirror and he's like, "For you." And then it's just a mirror in front of him.
Oh my gosh. It's so
Also-
man.
Oh, well, we can talk about this when it happens at the end.
So then the New Directions are all celebrating, and like Quinn and Rory, who Rory's there, are hugging, and
Oh, yeah, Rory.
and they're all happy. And then Mike's dad, because Mike's dad was in the audience. Are you showing us Fiero?
Here she is. Vera, what do you have to say?
Oh.
What do you have to say to the people? Nothing? What? She sounds like an old lady. All right.
How cute.
Because Mike's dad snuck into the audience during the performance and was watching, and at the end he stood up clapping.
Yeah, standing ovation. That was so nice.
Did he actually sneak in, or was he just like late?
He was late.
Yeah.
He was like sneaking physically.
Like when you're late, do you just like stride in? You're like, "Hey guys," or are you like, "Oops, sorry, excuse me," like sneaking?
I definitely thought he had a bodyguard escorting him in. So that's what I got from that scene. But yeah,
Oh
if
my
that was
god!
just
Wait,
Usher,
was there
then
like
okay.
a weird extra like behind him or something?
No, there was a guy who opened the door and like walked
Yeah.
him in.
Oh,
And I was like,
interesting.
oh, okay, sir, where's the limo? But you know.
And so he says, "I need to talk to both of you, Mike and Tina." And he's like, "Mike, I'm sorry. Like, your talent is amazing. Like, I'm really proud of you." And I support you and your passion to want to become a dancer. Your mother and I will do everything we can. Apply to dance schools, apply to the best ones. And he's like, I think I missed the deadline. And Tina's like, well, actually, I sent in your applications for you and forged your signature. And he's like, I love you. And is so happy.
This is the scene that I teared up.
Oh,
That's where
interesting.
you teed up?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
No, at that part, I was like, the dad should be like, all right, that's enough. You guys are children. Stop acting like you're going to spend the rest of your lives together because she did something for you.
It wasn't Tina. It was like his dad being
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I was really weirded out that Tina did that. Thought it was pretty inappropriate. Also, like, applications are like $50 a pop at least. So like
Yeah.
she spent however much money to apply to those schools for him and forge his signature, which I'm pretty sure is a felony.
Another felony for the Glee kids.
Drink every time there's a felony. Yeah, I was like, I understand the sweet intention and we're supposed to be rooting for this, but I'm also like, TV logic, that is not good. Don't take advice from Glee either. Please don't do that for your family members or partners. Don't just like apply to things for them unless you're like putting them up for like a special award and you're like, I'm nominating this person, not I am this person, but you're not. Don't forge anyone's signature.
Don't do it, sweetie.
I mean, they could have just like had him be like, yeah, I think I missed all the deadlines for applications. And then Tina's like, no, you didn't. I actually made a list of schools that have late deadlines or something.
Yeah, I mean, all those schools have deadlines into January and February. You know, like November isn't always just the last deadline. So yeah, I think that would have been totally doable. Way more realistic, less creepy. No felony.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And so then it's the next day, and Rachel is done with her suspension, and Quinn is waiting for her in the principal's office. And they kind of like, Quinn is like, thank you for stopping me from ruining Beth's life and making another bad decision. At least it was a woman who got to talk down to me this episode instead of a man.
Right. I thought about that too.
She actually said that.
And Quinn and Rachel's like, we're kind of friends, aren't we? And Quinn is like, kind of. And they're like, ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha, awkward.
Okay, question though. Like, really, at what point did Quinn decide that she wasn't gonna rat on Shelby? Because I really wanted her to.
That's a good point.
Shelby does kind of deserve to. I hate to talk about deserving, so let's not go there. But Shelby, there should be some kind of consequences for what Shelby did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, presumably the Treble Tones have disbanded, so she's out of a job. So it's not really a punishment, it's just happenstance.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to disband if you lose a competition.
Well, they go to the New Directions, is what I'm saying.
That's true. But
Not to like play a moral ground, but like I feel like it's all so much. There should like they could have done something different, because that whole scenario of just like a teacher and a student, like there's so much real life stuff happening like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's definitely inappropriate. So they should have addressed it and been like, all right, the teacher's going to get in trouble now because this shouldn't have happened. But they're just kind of like, all right, let's sweep it under the rug because it's not a big deal.
What if like Figgins found out some other way?
That's what I was thinking. Like if they didn't want Quinn to actually be the one to tell her or tell on her, then they could have had it be like.
What if Shelby goes to Figgins?
Yeah, like
and
have
like,
Shelby do it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that would have been really good.
Like if Quinn ends up talking her into it and she ends up doing it herself, like I think that would be, yeah, I think that's doable.
Yeah, and that would work really well in that conversation too, where Quinn's like, you want to talk to me about being an adult? You be the adult.
Yeah.
End it with Puck and turn yourself in.
Exactly.
Yeah, I honestly thought that was going to happen, and then it just didn't. I thought Shelby was going to turn herself in. I thought that's what happened. And it just, nope.
Maybe next episode. Merry Christmas.
Then, yeah, Rachel and Quinn kind of like are like, we're friends, haha. And then Quinn is like, have you thought about Yale? And Rachel's like, oh no, my sights are set on Niata. And
she says, what do you think about Yale?
Yeah, and Quinn is like, no, for me, like I'm not as strong a singer, but there's a good dramatic, good drama program there. And Rachel's like, yeah, I think you'd be awesome. You won't have me to compete with. I think you'd do great. So Quinn is thinking about Yale now.
Okay, question. Like, why do all of these kids want to go to like
Ivy League schools?
Yeah, Ivy League schools. I don't understand.
Because the writers know what those are.
Yep.
I'm weak.
Yeah.
The only school names they know, Yale, Stanford.
Yale, Ohio State. Yeah, no, like I have a hard time believing that Quinn would get into Yale. Like it seems like a stretch. But then again, like I think she has been like a good student overall. But like there was that weird stint where she like a couple months ago where she just like wasn't, I don't know, she was skipping class and stuff. Like
yeah.
I don't know.
Not to be shady, but aren't they all really poor? Like, are you gonna get a scholarship to Yale? What are you doing?
Parents
Did you
are pretty rich,
just
though.
give up a baby? She did? Okay, they are. All right.
Yeah, but we don't know how much her mom has in the divorce.
That's true.
Yeah.
Her mom has to have a job now. So she cures her own meats and she has a job.
True.
Well, time to take out
Judy
those
for
student
Bray.
loans, sweetie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really. Like sometimes you just got to do it. It sucks.
Yikes.
Free public university.
Woo. Take a drink.
Cheers to free public university in the future.
So then Quinn comes up to Santana and Brittany and Mercedes. They're like, we killed it in there. I can't believe we lost. And Quinn is like, you should join the New Directions. And Mercedes is like, no, we're not going to do that. And she's like, we only have one final senior year. Like, we're going to all graduate and move to separate places. And they're like, we'll keep in touch. And she's like, it won't be the same. When we're 27 or 87, we want to be able to look back on this as one of the best times of our lives. So let's like do this together. Because Brittany's like, they'll think they'll take us back. And she's like, oh, sure. And Mercedes and Santana are like, wait. But Quinn is like, yeah, I'd love to do it all together. Like, you should come back. And we're doing a final number and we could use some female voices.
Yeah, because I think like Mercedes is like, we don't want to be background singers to Blaine and Rachel, and Quinn's like, Rachel's already agreed to let the treble tones do one number every competition,
and so has Will.
Yeah, and I guess they're kind of like a subunit within New Directions. Still, I guess they're not like fully disbanded. But yeah, I actually thought like that was a conversation that really got to me because I was like, yeah, that's true. Like there really are like those moments in high school where like you maybe do want to really try to live up, and so that, you know, if the time comes that you actually do stay close together, you can actually, you know, talk about it when you're older and like reminisce. You know, that's a part of getting old, right? So like, yeah, I thought that was somewhat realistic, and I actually thought it was kind of sweet the way Quinn pitched the idea. Was like, let's do this to have fun, not like let's do so we can win. It's like, let's have fun together.
I really liked that scene. I thought it was so much growth for Quinn. She was finally off of her crazy. Yeah.
And I was like, who knew? It only took another woman to actually be like, let's have a woman-to-woman conversation. see, I guess it's that men talking down to women, it doesn't cure them of crazy. It makes them more hysterical. Because they're like, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, take a drink.
Let me help you. Yikes.
Yikes.
Does that mean we have to take another one?
Nah, I mean, you can. You're like, I'm already there.
Also, guys, I definitely switched to wine because my rum ran dry. Why
is all
the
the rum gone? Jinx!
So then they're singing, everyone's together singing We Are Young by Fun featuring Janelle Monáe.
Yes.
And the treble tones enter and they join in with the song and everyone hugs. And it's a really nice cover and a really like nice moment where everyone's together and they all
Those
hug.
harmonies are pretty banging.
Yeah.
They really are. I actually really like this scene, just like the way that it was put together and the cinematography choices that were made were spot on.
I didn't like the cloud background. That was like it was like a projector. Yeah, that was the first thing I noticed. It reminded me of the MCR number where it was just like random streets flashing behind them. So I was like, oh, this is equally as odd. But the thing that really got me at the end was Matthew Morrison, Mr. Shoe, leaning over them and had this like smile, but he like put his head down and his eye. It was so weird. I was like, he's the Grinch. And I just like that popped in my head. It's like he's gonna be the Grinch. And I think that was what convinced whatever casting director to get him for it, was that small moment.
Someone was watching.
I just saw the Grinch's like cartoon eyebrows go.
Yes.
And then pull and then go out and his little creepy smile.
I haven't seen any of the art from it. I have heard from a fan of the podcast, former guest, and unofficial Gleeboot correspondent, Allyssa, who told me that she'd seen previews for it and she said that it was horrifying. So I'm trying to keep it away from me as much as I can.
I'm weak.
Yeah, I really like that song. And then I remember thinking while I was watching it, as Shu walked in and they had a shot on him, I was like, oh, they ruined it.
Yeah. I was like, why? Why would you do that? Get him out of here.
Nobody wants to see him.
He was so nice. And then you did that.
Yeah. I love this cover, and this song makes me think of high school because I just remember like a senior prom, my friend Stephanie being like so excited when they played this song.
Yeah, Fun. I went to see Fun in concert with previous guest Kyle, who was my high school guest that I brought on. And also then I saw another concert with next episode's guest, which is a surprise. So yeah, I've seen Fun in concert twice with two guests.
Fun.
That's a fun fact. Yeah.
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 Yep.
So now it is Tina time.
I got 5 lines in and then forgot to count after that.
But which
is a good sign.
Yes.
It's a good sign. She had 14 lines.
Whoa. And she soloed a song, pretty much.
Double digits.
That's crazy.
I was real proud of Tina this episode.
Mm-hmm. Me too. I literally have a line that says, "Go Tina." I don't know if it's about her singing or about her talking so much. So
I think it might have been the felony.
Oh, yeah. That's what it was. Like, yay, go Tina, felony for you.
Don't let all the other characters get all the felonies.
Yeah.
So now it is MVPs and LVPs, where we talk about our most favorite and least favorite characters of the episode. So, Bobby, who is your least favorite character this episode?
Least favorite?
Yeah, your least valuable player.
Yikes. Of
Everyone
course. Guys, I really liked everyone. I can't think of a character who's like I did not like and their performance. Like I would have preferred to see more from everyone, but there was no one who I was like, all right, you're disappointing me.
Yeah, everyone was kind of meh this episode.
But yeah.
The only person I have is Shelby because I think it's probably just carryover from all the other episodes where she's been in. But I also just think that like she did not do the right thing in many ways, and also in this episode.
I agree with that. Like Shelby was definitely like, okay, honey, you could have been an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I go with a character who never appears and is not named?
Sure. We've gone with the sweater. We've gone with pizza.
That's true.
I'm gonna go with the guy who hired Sam to be a stripper.
Okay.
Or girl. The person who hired Sam to be a stripper.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's pretty shady, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm almost done.
And allowed him to claim the name of white chocolate for himself.
Yes.
I wonder
Especially that.
I wonder if that person was like, you look like white chocolate. And that's what happened.
Yep, going with that person.
Has layers. Let's not try and kill
This
him
person
off.
is so layered, this character, and they've never appeared on screen.
You don't even have a name.
I'm going to go with Sebastian.
Mm-hmm.
He
That's
was annoying, and he was talking about gay faces. And yeah, just yikes all around for that man. For that boy. He's a boy.
Everyone finish your drinks at that.
Are you finishing your drink? Because I'm not doing mine unless you're doing yours.
I finished mine.
Is that your
You don't have to
one
finish.
drink?
Yeah, exactly. My one drink.
So, Bobby, who is your favorite character this week?
Guys, again, there were just so many main characters that it's hard to pick one. But I feel like I like Promo, the way he just came back and like he was there. He was present. It was good.
I honestly don't know. I'm happy Sam's back. I wanted to say Tina, but I'm also like, I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna go with come back to me.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Mike's dad. Just for swallowing his pride and like making a decision that's ultimately going to help his son have a more stable emotional journey in college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to help him with anything else, but that for sure it will help him with.
I have some honorable mentions to Tina because I loved Tina this episode and I loved Quinn this episode. But I'm going with Sam. I love my boy Sam. I love that he's back. He was great.
I think I'm going to go with another unnamed character who's never appeared. I'm going to go with... No, you know what? No. I was going to say, okay, my honorable mention is the person who designed the dresses for both the unitards and the treble tones. I loved both of their outfits. Wasn't too cool about the nude erections, but I did like the other people's outfits. But no, actually, my MVP is actually going to go to Harmony. She's only a sophomore. She is pretty talented, and you know what? I'm happy that she's happy that she won third place.
Yeah, and she's going to be so much more cutthroat next couple of years.
Yeah, will we ever see her? I don't know.
Who knows?
Who's to say?
Who's to say? So now songs. So there were a lot of songs this episode.
Yes.
There was Red Solo Cup, Buenos Aires, Survivor / I Will Survive, ABC, Control, Man in the Mirror, and We Are Young. So, Bobby, what was your least favorite song?
least favorite, Red Solo Cup.
I second that.
Third.
Fourth.
Hey!
Yay!
Unanimous.
I think they could have filled that with a better song, like literally anything else.
Yeah, literally anything else. It could have been a country song about coming home. Boom.
Yeah, that
I'm
would've
sure
been
there's 70 of
cute.
them.
Why does it even
least.
have to be country?
Could be Chris Daughtry's I'm coming home to
To
the place
that
where I
belong.
belong. Beautiful. We always would do our least favorite.
Yeah.
So Bobby, what was your most favorite song?
I think I really like the Buenos Aires song, like that, and like the whole group at the end. Those are the two I'm kind of in between.
Okay. As much as I love fun, I am gonna go with I Will Survive, Survivor. Surprise banger for me. Did not know it existed. So glad it does. I think that's another one of those mashups. I wouldn't say it is better than the originals because I do like the originals separately, but like it's one of those that really elevates both of those songs when they're put together. So yeah, I would say that's some really good musical craftsmanship. I love it.
As much as I loved the Michael Jackson medley, I think that We Are Young kind of just like was just better. It had more emotional impact. And I actually liked the choreography a little bit more. And like I said, the cinematography and the whole scene except for Shu.
Yep.
Swooping in like a hawk.
Going ha 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 ha.
I think that's the exact sound that they had to like cut out. They're like, oh, again, he did that weird laugh again. They have to cut it out. He does it so he can get his mouth open real wide.
My favorite is going to be ABC.
It's the easiest. 1, 2, 3.
I loved that solo for Tina. There were some Kurt and Quinn moments. There's some Mike moments. They had Sam do his body roll thing. Yeah. And Mercedes was all like bashful.
One body roll.
It was like
one body roll.
Little body roll. It was like, yeah.
Like honestly, the whole time he was talking about body rolls, he wasn't very good at them.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think they were great, but I loved ABC.
Focus on other things in this episode, but you know, if that was something they wanted, then they did a decent job at including
that. So that brings us to the end of our episode.
I don't even remember what it was called. What's this episode called?
Hold on to 16.
Hold on to 16.
Yeah.
All right. Nice. Good job, guys.
We done it.
Thank you so much for coming on, Bobby. I hope you had fun.
I did. I really enjoyed hanging out with you guys. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Any social medias you'd like to plug?
Me? Oh, well, if you'd like to check out my Instagram, I think, let's see real quick, it's Robert J. Smith 18 on Instagram. So check me out. If not, okay.
So we are on TikTok. I said it normally this time. Twitter and Instagram. We are at Gleeboot Pod. And then we're also on Tumblr, gleebootpod.tumblr.com.
You can follow my other podcast at Wanderers Cove Podcast on Instagram. And check out my other podcast, Wanderers Cove, wherever you get your podcasts. It's a fun mystery. We have one episode left, so jump in now.
And you can follow me on Instagram at a.m.swearingen, SWEARINGEN. That's it.
So thanks, guys. Tune in next week for a Christmas bop of an episode. Merry extraordinary Merry Christmas.
Yeah, and it will be happening, I think, Christmas Eve. So, yeah, maybe we'll sing some Christmas carols.
Ooh.
Those are public domain, right? We can sing those.
Depends on how old they are.
Okay, we'll find the oldest ones.
We'll do some Latin chant.
Ave Maria.
Yikes.
Everybody's drink. Finish your drink. Thank you, Bobby, for coming on.
My pleasure. Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks, listeners.
Thanks.
Bye.
Gleeboot.